Welcome back to the channel. So today we are going to be working on the bike. We're in the shop and we're working on the bike. So I'm decided to do a practice run of changing tires. So instead of just changing the tires and doing a practice run with the existing tires, we're going to go with the new tire. And we're going to go with the Shinko 705. So I've done some research on them. They're pretty much the best tire for my kind of riding right now, which is mostly street riding, but I want to be able to go on a gravel road or go off-road a little bit, but mainly on the street. So this was a good choice versus just putting another set of street tires on. So it'll be a practice run for doing a flat. And also I want to be able to change my tires regularly as I need to, whenever it comes up that I need to change a tire and put new tires on. So we're gonna go with these tires. They're unbelievably inexpensive. I think it was 160 bucks for the set front and back. And most tires, that's what just one individual tire costs. You can spend well over $300 to $400 on a set of tires for this bike. So we decided to go with these Shinko. So as you can see, they got some good tread to them. I mean, they're beefy. They're a lot beefier than the stock tires, but also they give good performance, what I've read, good performance on the street, and that's what we're looking for. So really, this is just a practice run of how I'm going to change tires and then specifically for this bike. So specifically for the 2019 Africa Twin DCT. So this is the dual clutch version. I haven't really seen a lot of info on it. So that would be a good thing to do, is to get a practice run on how to change the tires. So one thing that is different than a lot of the other bikes is that I have two brake calipers here. We got this is the parking brake and this. So there's, some stuff that needs to be, a little bit different than just the standard version. So we'll dig into that. I want to get some practice on that. And again, I mean, you can see this tire is a lot more aggressive than this tire. This tire really doesn't have, it has, some grooves in it, but it's a street tire. But this tire is going to give a lot more performance, not a knobby, but a lot more performance on the street and dirt than just this street tire here. So we're going to go with this, and we're going to practice, how to change the tire so that we don't have to do that for our first time when we do get a flat, or, this will be controlled in the shop. So it'll be not like out in the field, but we're going to use all the same tools that we normally would use and then get some practice on it. You come over to the front tire and you can see that, I mean, this front tire is definitely got a lot more bite than the tire, than the stock tire. I mean, this stock tire is, this is basically, you get off-road on the gravel on that thing and you're all over the place. This will get a little bit better performance, but still offer some street performance. I'm curious to see what my mileage is, because these are showing some significant wear on them. And I mean, I don't have a lot of miles. I'm gonna say I'm under 4,000 miles on this bike, but these aren't gonna last forever. These are just to get me through until spring. And then I'm gonna put a more aggressive 50/50 knobby tire when I go to Big Bend. But this will be a good practice run for how to change the tire on this bike and so on. So yeah, and I've never done it before, never changed a tire, never pulled the wheels off this bike. So this will be a learning experience for me too on how to do this. So let's go take a look at the tools that I have for this. So for the tools, I got a balancer, which you really need this for balancing the tires and getting them done right. I went ahead and got the no pinch. I've heard a lot of good things about this, so I'm gonna give this a shot, because the last thing I want to do at the end of the day of a long ride and I got a flat tire is struggling to get my tire on and then pinching the tube. So we got the no pinch, we got the bead breakers, So these will be good. So this is the set of the bead breaker, some spoons, and then a larger tire iron. We're also got our rim protectors, so we got to make sure we take care of the rim. And then I got a bunch of various weights, different weights for balancing the tire, and a couple other miscellaneous things. But yeah, this is pretty much the setup that I'm going to bring with me. This would be on the bike when I'd go on a longer trip, and if I ever need to change a tire, obviously the stand doesn't come with me unless I'm trailing the bike, then I would bring it just in case. But if you're just changing the tube, I don't think you really need to rebalance the tire. It's just putting a new tire on that's going to require the balancing. So this is the tool set that we're going to use for changing the tires, and then we'll go ahead and see how that went. You know, again, as a newbie, never doing this before, we want to get some experience and get some new rubber on this bike, and then we'll go from there and see how they perform, and then change again, because I'll probably be doing at least 2 changes per year, if not more, for different missions. So, you know, if I'm just here around Texas on the road, a lot of pavement, then we're going to go with these 705s. But then if we're going to go with the more aggressive on the dirt, then I can just change tires for that specific trip and do something a little more knobby and something like that. So we'll be playing around with tires, but we want to get some experience on changing the tires on this one. So come along and join me on this adventure of changing tires for the first time, never doing it before. And we're going to go ahead and dig into this and get into it.
Break the bolt and then put it up on the jack. Yeah. Yeah.
So I'm pulling up the chain guard just to do some maintenance. We're gonna not only just change the tire, but do some cleaning maintenance and just check things out. So I want to get this chain guard all cleaned up, and might as well pick it up now while we can. It's only three Allens anyway, so it should be a simple task. Go ahead and pull the axle. All right, so we're going to remove the sprocket just to get it out of the way. It just pops right out, just like that. Then you got these little rubber spacers. That's nice that this just pulls right out. A little bit of soap on, and finally the bead broke. Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So at this point, I don't need the protection because it's coming off fairly easy. You really just need it for that first. And a scratch or two isn't going to kill you. And now that I got it open, I can go ahead and put my room saver. Take some bigger, there it goes. Get some bigger bites. Yeah, it's definitely good to do some practice before you get on the road and have to do this for the first time. We got it off the rim. We'll go ahead and clean this up and get it ready for the new tire. All right, so the old tire came off fairly, it wasn't, without never doing it before, it wasn't that bad. I'm so glad I got the experience though, because without the experience, that wouldn't be fun on the trail. So right now we're prepping the tire, the new tire. So we've put some chafing powder on the inside, and now we're going to go ahead and put some soap along here and go ahead and pop this on the new rim. All right, so next let's get our direction. So we want this tire to go in this direction. So we've got our direction going. So this is the right direction. There we go. As advertised, I've watched a few videos that say you just pop that sucker on like that and voila, there it is. So we're going to confirm our direction. Arrow's going that way, so we want our wheel rolling this way. So I think we're good. Let's go ahead and get the tube in. So we're going with the new tube. I know I can reuse the old tube, but this is a heavy duty tube. So we're going to go ahead and put this in. And we'll save the old tube as a spare. So we're gonna find, okay, there we are. We don't have the sprocket on here, so we don't have to worry about getting that. I've heard this is the hardest part, so let's go ahead and get that part done. Okay, so we're gonna take the red dot. I didn't look at it before, but I should have, and we're gonna put it over here where the stem is. We should be able to rotate that fairly easy. All right. All right, so we got the tube set. We pumped some air in it to get it to set. Now we'll go ahead and do our locks. Aha. Okay. Yes, just like that. Okay, now comes the fun part. We're done with that. Now we're gonna go try the no pinch. Just little bites. Look at that. That's all we want is little bites. We don't need this anymore, so we'll get that out of the way. And I think what we'll do is we'll go ahead and put, I don't even think we need this, but we'll go ahead and put it here just in case. So you don't want to really do too much with this, except just get it over enough so it'll drop in. See how it's dropping in there nice and easy? That's what we're looking for. And there we go. That was, I will have to say, a lot easier than I thought it would be, and no pinching of the tube. Hopefully, we'll see. We'll go ahead and pop some air in there and kind of pop it around, get it to seat the tube. I heard it pop. There we go. Bead is set. Well, there you have it. Tire is on, pumped up to 40. We're gonna go ahead and put it on the balancer and go from there. We got the wheel mounted. All right, so we got the wheel mounted, or tire mounted, pumped up with air. We're on the balancer. Now we're gonna go ahead and check it and see what we have here. All right, so now we're gonna work on the front tire and go ahead and get that removed. We need to remove this caliper, and we're gonna try and do it without removing that caliper, the second caliper, but we're gonna start with this one and then see how things go and then go from there. So we'll go ahead and loosen these first to free up. We'll take this off, loosen this, loosen that, undo the clamp, and then go ahead and back this axle out and see if we can't pull that wheel off. There we go. front wheels off. All right, so we just got done installing the Shinko 705s on front and back. And the install was fairly easy. I've never done it before, so it was really a practice run. I wanted to see what it would be like, change the tire in a controlled environment. Granted, I'm not changing 2 tires at the same time if I get a flat, and I'm not taking the tire off. I'm just opening it up and pulling out the tube and putting a new tube in. So that being said, the front was the hardest to get the tire off the rim completely, and the back was the easiest to get the whole tire on the rim completely. That being said, just removing the tube is fairly easy on both of them. Being I'm using the Bahaha no pinch, it was really, I mean, that's really the way to go, because there's no, you don't want to be out in the middle of nowhere and tired and have to change a tire and get lazy and pinch a tube. You know, you take your time with that no pinch and that tire just goes on effortlessly. Getting it off the, you know, popping the bead off and getting it off, you know, that's the hardest part of the work. But I would say it was, if you've never changed a tire before, do it in the shop. Put some new tires on. Do it in the shop. That way you're in a controlled environment, you get some experience, you learn how to do it. And then if you ever do have to fix a flat out on the road, you're gonna already have the experience of how to take the wheel off, how to put it back on, how to pull the tube, and do all that stuff in a controlled environment. You've learned that, and it'll make it that much. You don't want your first time to be that time. As far as balancing, this tire needed zero balance, and it was perfect right out of the box. Once I put the tube on, put the tire on, that is, you know, I lined up the red dot. So I line up the red dot with the stem, and you know, double check your rotation, because the last thing you'd want to do is a long day's work in the shop putting new tires on and find out that you got the tire on backwards. So I double check that rotation, which way the tire is going and so on. Secondly, you want to be careful with this guy right here. You don't want to, there's a sensor right behind here, and you don't want to bend this or ding it. So just be careful with this when you're doing that. It did work fine just taking off the one caliper. I didn't have to take off both. I know that manuals and this and that say to take off both, but you can easily, you do it with just one. You could probably not take any of them off, but I don't know. I'm not gonna go there. This was easy enough to take it off and do that. So the front's on, it was fairly simple. It was the hardest to get the tire completely off the rim to re-put the new one on. Putting it on was fairly easy. Putting the tube in wasn't that bad. We'll go ahead and torque everything down tomorrow, because I'm just tired and I don't want to look it up and do all that. So tomorrow I'm gonna go out for a ride and just kind of get, you know, maybe 50 miles just to break these tires in, kind of scrub them in a little bit, and just make sure everything's cool locally, and then come back to the shop and double check everything and so on. There's some other maintenance I need to do on the bike, so tomorrow I'll be doing all that. But yeah, she's got some new tires on it, some new wheels. These are nice. This is gonna be nice. And then the rear was fairly equally, you know, it wasn't really, actually taking this tire off was fairly easy. Putting it back on was fairly easy, because it's a much bigger tire. The front tire is a narrow tire, so it's gonna be a lot harder. So yeah, this worked fairly good to get it on. And you know, you still have to be careful with your sensor and with the brakes. You know, for the DCT, you got your emergency brake or parking brake, and then you have your main brake. On the front, I just used the hydraulic stand. So I used the hydraulic stand, which I could have done with this, and I think next time I'll do that. I'll just put it on this, and then that way I can just lift the bike up to align the holes without having to struggle and pull the tire up. And you know, because I don't know, I'm old and tired, and it's hard lifting these things up. But yeah, this tire is going to be nice. I still have to torque this down, so I still have to torque everything and tighten everything and do some maintenance. So you know, now's the time to adjust my chain and to oil my chain and do all that stuff. Yeah, changing the tires, it's a little daunting, at first, but I think once you get through it, it's well worth it. As I was anticipating to do this change and also to be able to do it in the field. So we're gonna go get something to eat and take a break, and we'll go finish this up tomorrow.